Julia grew up in New York as the gifted daughter of a rich banker. And Julia, from a young age, wanted to be a writer. But her father kept a very close watch on her. He censored her reading, and he wouldn't allow her to go to the theater. For all of his affection, she often felt that he was her jailer. In her own words, she often wished that I had been a boy in view of the limitations of a girl's aspirations. At 22, Julia married a dashing, brilliant, handsome man, Dr. Samuel Gridley Howe. Chev, as she called him, was a domineering husband who believed that a woman, a married woman, should find all of her happiness in her home and her children. And by the 1860s, by 1861, when the Civil War broke out, she was feeling like an artistic failure, silenced, marginalized, and useless. In November 1861, Julia meekly accompanied Chev to Washington. While he was away at meetings, her minister, James Freeman Clark, said to her that it would be a good idea if she would write more eloquent words to the tune of John Brown's Body, which the Union soldiers sang as they marched along. All the lyrics came to her, and she woke up in the middle of the night and wrote them down in the dark. She felt confident in sending them to James Field, who was the editor of the Atlantic Monthly, and in February 1862, he published them on the front page of the Atlantic, and he paid her $5. As she approached her 50th birthday, Julia had a vision of a new world of womanhood. In 1869, in Boston, she joined the new American Women's Suffrage Association. And the American Women's Suffrage Association supported having men as members and as officers. They supported the 15th Amendment, which gave the vote to Black American men. She traveled around the United States with other suffragists, and she was inspired by their companionship. In 1876, Chev died. He left her nothing in his will. The day after his funeral, she wrote, "My new life begins today." She traveled around the world, Europe and the Middle East, lecturing to women's groups on women's rights everywhere. In her lace caps, she was often called the dearest old lady in America. But that was not how Julia saw herself. As she said, "I do not desire ecstatic, disembodied womanhood. I would be a woman and human and an American."